What if you were feeling disconnected, unclear, and spiritually tired? Been there? Going through it? What if you're not lost at all? What if you're just overwhelmed? Yeah. So many people are quietly telling themselves, I don't know what's wrong with me. I should be further along. I don't like myself anymore. But what if nothing is actually wrong? What if your system has just been carrying too much, basically for a long time? I know I went through it. So I'm Francine, and I am here to tell you you're not alone. And this is another episode of You Were Meant for More. This is a space where we talk honestly about the human experience, about healing, clarity, faith, and what happens when we stop shaming ourselves and start understanding what's really happening within us. And today we're talking to people who are experiencing, or talking to many people, I should say, that sorry. And today I put my notes here and I was just like, okay, today we're talking, not two people. I do have a guest, so stay tuned for that. But we're talking about something so many people are experiencing at right now, but don't have the language for. You're not lost, you're overwhelmed. Okay, you guys, let's talk about this. What's happening in this world? My previous episode broke it down from the human experience, spiritual experience. So if you have not caught that episode, definitely go back and rewatch it. And can I just say, what is happening with California weather? I'm in Southern California, you guys, and we wake up and it is winter in the morning, and by noon, it's summer. So forgive me, I may be like overheating in my room right now, even though the AC is blaring. So yeah, gotta love that. So thank you so much for being here. Again, if you've been with us for a while, I'm so grateful. And if you're just tuning in to the show, thank you so much for joining. Okay, so let me go back to my notes because I'm very clear about what it is I want to share with you guys. And you know me, I can go off on a tangent and talk about all kinds of different things. So I have to stay in key points with my message to you all. So bear with me. Okay, we're living in a constant noise, like the news cycle, social media, opinions, division, pressure, and uncertainty. There's an emotional weight everywhere. Mental fatigue, spiritual exhaustion. And when your nervous system is constantly activated, clarity doesn't disappear, it goes offline. So here's the truth. When the nervous system is so overwhelmed, discernment shuts down. So people assume they're lost. This is their lost direction, when really they've lost capacity. Do you feel that? Do you feel like, yeah, that disconnection? You guys, I know because I've been there. I want to make an important distinction here. Being lost and being overwhelmed are not the same thing. When you're overwhelmed, you think everything. I mean, I don't know how many times we've overthink things, right? But you think everything. You second guess yourself. You react instead of reflect. I mean, how many times have we done that? We react instead of reflect. And I tell people all the time to, before you respond, make sure you reflect on what it is you're responding to, because we're easily triggered with our emotions, right? So you feel spiritually distant, even though you still believe. So this is where I want to come closer, so like scoot in a bit. Faith doesn't disappear. It gets buried under pressure. The more you push yourself to figure it out, the louder the overwhelm becomes. And I'm going to share with you guys. I'm trying to find out when the best time to share this is, but it's like, I received downloads, right, from God. And I'm just like, so this morning I woke up and I was like, okay, I heard loud and clear that he says, I mean, he's told me to bring people back to the heart, but he said, people cannot, I'm trying to remember verbatim, but I'm going to fail miserably, but people cannot love or receive the love that they're looking for when they don't know how to love themselves. And I was like, oh, I felt that. Because the thing is, like, as a self-love coach, this is what I am so passionate about. I'm so passionate about getting people back to love, back to where Jesus is. And if you don't remember, it is mind, body, spirit, Father, Son, Holy Ghost. We're consumed with the spirit. Okay. We have the spirit within us, but we tend to not pay attention to it. And so when he brought me that message this morning, I was just like, okay, that all makes sense. And it's all coming together. And so when I talk to people and I really focus on bringing them back to the heart, that's where God is. Jesus, our Father, our Holy Spirit, bring it back to the heart. But in order for you to really receive and attract and to nurture the love that you so desperately want and need in your life, you have to start with love for yourself. You have to remember that. You got to let go and bless. I always say bless and release what is no longer serving you and how you get to show up in such a space of love for everyone so that you know how to attract the love that you wish to receive. But it starts within ourselves. Okay. So God gave it verbatim as far as you can't receive the love you're looking for until you come back to the heart, which is him. Okay. And so I love working with people who are feeling lost or just why am I not looking or why am I not receiving that love? Why are people showing up this way? Why are they not showing up this way? So depending on what it is you're looking for in that space of love, you could be possibly self-sabotaging, relationships, friendships, careers, coworkers, anybody who responds to you in a certain way. But I can go off on that topic. I just wanted to share that with you all here today because I wanted to bring you to this in alignment. Sorry, I was going to use enlightenment and alignment together. So I was bringing you to this alignment so you really understand this as a whole. Okay, let's continue. So this is where the human experience matters. Pain, stress, grief, disappointment, and unanswered questions are not signs of failure. They are signals that something inside you needs safety and basically needs safety, attention, and compassion. Okay, so this is why I wanted to share that topic today, because what happens is these signals that are creating momentum around you they're little nudges for you to work on something. What is it that you are holding on to? Again, I tell people, don't be so hard on yourself because these are printed beliefs that we've had since we were kids. Okay. They stay on our nervous system and they show up when there's a lesson to be learned or, something is moving in our lives. Okay. And I bring it back full circle because this is where comes the love part. Okay. So it will always give us those experiences. So if there's a love you're not receiving, if there's a type of reaction you're getting from someone, if there's, you keep getting passed over because maybe a job you're looking for, whatever that may look like in your life, know that it all comes back to here. Okay. Stay with me, you guys. God doesn't use pain to punish us. Remember that. He often uses it to slow us down. And he slows us down as a reflection process. So don't be hard on yourself. When we stop judging our emotions and start understanding them, clarity begins to return. So when you're just like, oh, you know what? Why does this happen to me? And oh my goodness, why is this, what is happening in my life? And the pain you receive, it allows you to stop and reflect. But see, what happens is as humans, we want to control everything. We want to fix it, but we don't know how to fix it. So how many times have you tried to fix it? Are you with me? Let me know if you guys are joining live or catching this on replay. Let me know. How many times have you tried to fix your own life? Ooh, millions, countless times. And I promise you, the minute you surrender, let go, and let God, things will change. Okay, so stay with me here. All right, so let me see how you guys are doing. Check in with you guys. Hey, can I get an amen? All right, let's go. Let's continue. I want to talk about self-love, but not the Instagram version, okay? This is where everyone is so confused on what self-love means. And it's so funny because I was having a conversation with God today, and I was like, I love that he's made me a self-love coach, and I love how it connects to my heart. And I told him, I said, and I also put the transformational speaker because there's a transformation to it. Okay. Now I told him, I said, I feel like there needs to be a more empowering type of name to come about. And it did come about not too long ago, but I didn't incorporate it into my mastermind. So I think as far as branding goes, we might start with the mastermind, changing it from self-love, because people like, oh, self-love. I know what self-love means. It means taking care of myself, going on massages, and no. It literally dives deep into the mindset, the subconscious. Okay. So I'm like, God, we need to like really set the tone for this. And it needs to be Godfidence. So my friend Jessica had given me this word not too long ago. And I'm like, Godfidence, having that Godfidence, confidence within you. Okay. And it's really stepping into it. It leads back, stepping into your power and purpose to have that Godfidence that you were created to be, that light that he said you are. And I'm just like, oh, I think this is where we're going to head into our next season. Because this year we're looking at retreats, those spiritual retreats that I have so desperately been wanting to host, because I know there's so many women out there that would love them. They're transformational. Okay, so let's continue. It's not learning how to stay present with yourself. Name what you're feeling, soothe instead of shame, listen instead of override. When the nervous system feels safe, faith becomes accessible again, not forced. Okay? So self-love is not indulgence, it's regulation. It's learning how to, sorry, I think I said learning not to. Learning how to stay present with yourself. Feeling sense of override. That I skipped over my notes. All right, so it's not forced, not pressured, but felt. You guys got to feel it here. So like, again, remember, it's not those bubble baths, those Instagram stuff, and say, oh, look at me, I'm all good and fun and everything. You guys know. It's okay. Take a step back. Love who you are and who you're becoming. Okay. So if you've been feeling disconnected, tired, unclear, or spiritually quiet, hear this. You're not broken. You're not behind. You are not failing. You're not overwhelmed. I'm sorry, you are overwhelmed. And overwhelm is not a character flaw. It's a signal that you need support. So yeah, you're not lost. You're just feeling overwhelmed. And that is a nervous system letting you know, hey, I need to be heard. This is what I have for you. And it will start to come up in your body. It'll start to come up in a space of ailments. You know, it's like, hey, listen to me. Maybe you bumped your leg on something. Maybe you hit your arm. I mean, it'll start to tell you like, hey, you need to work on what this is. Your body is your signal. Remember, your spirit, everything, God, everything, mind, body, spirit. It's all connected. So stop running from it. All right, let me go down. Okay. Overwhelm is not a character flaw. It's a signal that you need support. Oh, I said that too already. And then safety and space to breathe. So we want to make sure you're safe enough so you can take those deep breaths and breathe out what no longer is serving you. And I know I've taught this on a previous episode, but it's really about how to get your nervous system regulated by breathing. Okay. And if you don't remember, it literally is taking deep breaths for 5 seconds. So it's as, much as you can, the deep breath, holding it for 5 seconds and then releasing it as long as you can. I don't say 5 seconds, releasing it. The more you release it, the more your nervous system can relax. So for example, okay, that allows your nervous system to relax. Don't do it just once. Do it a minimum of 3 times. So if you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, anything like that, do that for at least a minimum of 3 times, go up to 5. And it helps you relax. And I love to close my eyes because it's telling myself my body is safe. I'm safe. And my body starts to relax. Okay? All right. If something in this conversation resonated with you, don't ignore that inner nudge. And remember, your body will tell you when you need to address something that's going on in your life. There's nothing weak about needing support. There is nothing unspiritual about regulating your emotions. And you guys, as always, you know that I'm here for you. You know that I can connect with you on social media at any time. I am here no matter what. I want to be able to support women where they're at, what they're going through. And even if it's just a question, reach out. You guys can reach me on all social media platforms. I already put the link to subscribe to my channel. So you can definitely, or subscribe to my website, I should say, the email newsletter. And if you really want to book some time with me, there's a link there that you can follow on francinayala.com. And it's /meant for more. I want to be here. This is a space where we don't bypass the human experience. We understand it. And you're not lost. You're not broken, and you're not alone. You're overwhelmed, and with the right support, clarity can return. You are meant for more, and I truly believe that. I truly believe we have it all within us to show up as loving children of God and to follow through with his purpose in our lives. So just know that you're loved and give yourself grace for how far you've come. Because believe me when I say I fought tooth and nail with him until I finally gave up and said, okay, God, you just utilize me for your work. Okay. And don't get me wrong. There's still days where I'm just like, you want me to do what? So there's days I still want to be disobedient, you guys, but I love my God. I love what he brings to my life, and I'm so grateful for that. So you all know that I've launched a new show. It's a new segment, I should say, to this show, because I had those conversations with God, and I was like, God, I know you want me to share your message, and I love it, and all the things, but can I have like a side project, like a podcast, where I get to be myself, like really open up? And it's not that I'm not myself on this show of You Were Meant for More, but it's more like girl talk. It's more off the cuff, where there's no script, there's no notes, there's nothing. It's just real talk. And so we get to talk all things, lives, relationships, careers, entrepreneurship, whatever that may look like, and have fun doing it. So I'm about to bring on an amazing guest. I absolutely love her. So stay tuned as we turn over the show to Amplify Your Voice. So thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you, and go out and make amazing things happen. Stay with me. All right, you guys, we are back. And so I am so grateful to have this amazing guest with me. This is Rocio Arvanitis. Am I saying it right, love?
Yes. Okay. Yes. Got it.
I absolutely adore her. So she actually invited me to an accountability group in 2025, January of 2025. And we are now in 2026, and I have lasted a whole year. So talk about community, empowered women showing up in a space of love, of faith, of discernment,
and commitment.
And community, and what'd you say?
Commitment.
Commitment, yes.
Committed to you, to you, to yourself, to your growth, to your daily practice.
Yes,
all those things.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to get comfortable. We're going to grab our water or whatever it is we want to do because we're going to do this Amplify Your Voice. And our topic today, you guys, is going. Are you changing your backgrounds, Rocio?
Yeah, I'm just like I want to feel like okay, like that's giving me like sunset vibes and I like it, but it's
It's a little dark.
yeah, it looks a little dark to me. So anyways,
Oh, it's fine.
it's okay.
Okay, so our topic is going to be about finding the one, the THEE. I love
Yes.
that. And then really giving your relationship to God. And so I told Rocio, because we had so many topics that we wanted to talk about. And I told her, I go, which one are we going to go with? I said, because I think they're all so powerful, but because I've been brought to a place of love, of finding that relationship with love, I thought it was important to talk about this today because Rocio is happily married and I'm happily in a relationship. So, we just get to look at different perspectives and how far like we were single and what kind of came about, right? So,
Yeah.
let me take off I feel like I'm still in professional mode. So hold on, you guys.
Yeah, shake it off. Shake
Girl,
it off, sister. Yeah,
you what?
I'm still I still look a little blurry, but no.
It's just the background. It's the
Oh, okay.
background that's doing it to you. So, do you need the background?
Bummer. Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, so you guys, by no means am I like the relationship expert.
No,
That's not the case here.
but
Um,
I'm glad you said that because I was going to preface that too. It's like this is just an opportunity for us to share from our own experiences. Not necessarily, we're not going to, say that we're experts in relationship. It's not that. It's just understanding the dynamics that we've been around and then sharing our own experiences, right?
yeah. And I love sharing because I shared this morning with somebody and we were talking about somebody I just reconnected with, a new neighbor. And
Okay.
she was just saying, we're talking about, our age. We're, close to mid 40s. And a lot of my friends are already on their second or third marriage. So this person happened to share, she says, I got married too young. I didn't
Yeah.
know better. I didn't even know about boundaries or red flags or like, how the heck am I going to pick the right one, right? Or the
Mm-hmm.
one. Um, and so she was like, got married at 23. She's 45 now and she's on her second marriage. They have children and all that. And so I feel like this is I see this a lot. My girlfriends, a lot of them are also on their second or third marriage. And you ask yourself, like, why? Right. And so I'll talk about
Mm-hmm.
my story a
Mm-hmm.
little bit, and then I'll talk about like, how things kind of unfolded for me, how
Yeah.
I kissed a lot of frogs, and and
We
and
all
I'm
did, girl. We all did.
and at some point it was, there's a little bit of shame in that, and then you're like, no, I'm kind of glad it happened, right? Kind of like we always say, it works out.
Mm-hmm.
We just gotta trust, and I don't know that I trusted at the beginning, but towards the end, I definitely went like all in on me. And
Mm-hmm.
my mom said something when I was about 28, 38. And she said, Rocio, all these guys that you go out with, like, they can't be all wrong, right? Like, you can't not like all of those guys or.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, like, what is she talking about? And I just like, I never, I'll never forget that day. We were in the kitchen and I was having a meal. I think I was warming something up in the microwave. And my mom said this to me, and I was like, is she saying I'm the problem? I think she's saying I'm the problem. Like, I think she needs, yeah. And she's not really sure how to say this to me, but that's what she said. And I started like just looking deep, right? I started pulling out the mirror and I was like, well, how do I know? And what is the work?
Mm-hmm.
And so people talk about inner work and like, oh, well, we got to do it and you got to follow this and that and, all the things. And so, and leave it up to God. And I'm like, really, God? I thought we were like cool. Like, how come it's been so long? Yeah, what's up? And so, long story short, um, I just feel like it was less about the search even, and I don't feel like I was ever like searching.
Yeah.
I always did trust, I truly did. And I think my life started transforming when I started truly surrendering like my relationships to God. Like, okay, God, who do I need to like what do I need to do? Like what is this work you're talking about? And then I joined a women's small group, and then I started like joining but before that, I feel like I was in a corporate world and I was always dating. So I'll take you back to like when I was 18, I always had these long-term relationships, 5 year, 4 year, 9 years.
Hmm.
So when I turned 35, I threw myself a big party and I said, this is like a different like season, truly. This is a different era. This is like the and my theme was age to perfection, and I don't even know what that meant, but I liked it and I went with it and I threw myself a big party and I just felt like it was a rebirth of Rocio. And so I started, joining the small group and praying, truly like having, some stillness and changing my routine. And so that's when I started really tapping into like, I would even say self love, like deep,
Hmm.
true, like, and I feel like I started like it was more of a season of becoming also. And so I also feel like um, some of these girls, women out there that are just, they're not sure like how to find what they need, or they feel like it's not out there. And I'm thinking, but like, where are you in your like self love
Hmm.
journey? Right. And how
Oh
do,
my goodness, you guys keep talking, Rocio. I forgot to plug in my computer, so don't want us to die on you guys.
oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, anyways, and so there was, and there's healing patterns I feel like that need to be addressed before you choose a partner. And I'll go back to a lot of the people or single women that I talk to. They fall into like the same patterns and they're not sure why, you know, and they fall
So
into, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt really quick. I think it's so important what you said, because I didn't want to get away from that. I wanted to stop you right there. Is that inner work? And I think where this is so profound because of me coaching on the human experience now, is they're stuck in between the human experience and God's experience. Okay.
Oh,
And you said it
totally.
perfectly. You said, I started going to church, or I started having this conversation with God. It's like, who do I need to be? And what do I need to look like? Right. And this is where so many of the women get off track, because you're either close to God or you're close to the human experience. So it's the, am I going to give my all to God? And so many women do this, but they don't really do this. And so where I come in with the whole spiritual psychology is learn psychology, understand the human behavior, because you're going to continue to follow the
Fall
human
into the patterns.
behavior. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because if you're not going to draw close to God the way he wants you to, you're going to stay stuck in that spiral
Yeah.
of not knowing what's going on. And so I had to stop you there, because I think that's so profound how it links exactly to why I teach about the human experience, and the self love is doing the inner work, because God has this mission for you to connect back to your heart through him. But if you're not doing what Rocio is doing, or what I'm doing, or what other women are doing to find that love through God, then you're going to be stuck in a spiral, and continue to do the human
Yeah,
experience
fall
of
into the same
life.
patterns, right? Of attracting. You're
Exactly.
like, why do I attract the same
Right.
people, or the same
Right.
type of person in a different body? And
Yes.
we don't understand that, right? And it's like,
100%.
even when it's chaotic, it feels right. Or
Yes.
even when it's also predictable. You already know what you're gonna get,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
really not. no
And
excitement.
it's funny because when I hear some of the ladies, they talk about like I get some of the funniest reels from women that talk about men in a bad way. In a bad way where it's like, oh, don't fall for this, don't fall for his toxic blah 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 blah. And I'm like,
I know.
I can't receive that, because the thing is, if that's what your subconscious is constantly repeating and
Well, you were able to
receiving.
see that right away, right? How come you
Correct.
weren't able to see equality? How come you went straight to
Correct.
toxicity?
Right.
Hello.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And so it's when we look at these healthy type of relationships, and one of the biggest components, obviously, is, well, of course, faith is number one, is both of you having that faith, that connection to God. But number two is communication. You have to be willing to show up and communicate and grow with one another. Because, like, if you have a disagreement of something, and being able to communicate why you're feeling a certain way, like for me, for example, couple times I've had like a disagreement with my boyfriend, and I'm just like, but like both times that they were kind of like not harsh, but like not not a simple argument, but a pretty serious one,
Hmm.
where it wasn't too crazy, but it was just for me. I'm just like, yeah, this got me really mad. Why? Why did it get me so mad? And then I realized where the insecurity lied within me. And I was like, interesting. But again, it allowed me to reflect. And you said something too, Rocio, that I think is so important, where your mom's like, it can't be all these men. And see, what women need to understand is it's not necessary. It's understanding what we continue to attract because of what we believe about ourselves.
Yeah, it's that chemistry over peace.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't even know what you're like, what? Yes, well, chemistry is instant, right? And
Yeah.
peace is has to be sustainable.
It
We're not
does.
talking about a peaceful moment. We're talking about a peaceful life.
Life, life. And that's where it's at. It's because if you can't have an open and honest communication with your partner about how you feel, or how, certain things are showing up for you, then it's not really a trust type of relationship. It's just you guys are running off emotions versus actual longevity
Yeah.
of emotional support, right?
Yeah, and I'll say this, all the time. I say, fun is easy, you guys.
Yeah.
Anybody can show you a good time.
Mm,
That's not really sustainable. I'm sorry to say, but
yeah.
small, yeah. So if you can't
Mm,
handle a small argument, what about
right.
a medium size? What about when, things get real, things get
Yeah.
hard, circumstances, sickness, parents, somebody else needs you, and you're pulled a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
And so all those things, right? Like they're just behaviors. And I was very observant. I've always been. And so
Mm-hmm.
something that I always asked myself was like, can I do this in front of me, right? I'm talking about like, can I do this for the
Yeah.
rest of my life?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I'm so glad I got married at 41 because
Mm-hmm.
I only have like half of my life, right? So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, now it's like less time I have to worry about, but still picking the right one is just I can't even tell you. I always say, like, your partner will make you or break you, right?
Mm-hmm.
They will either support you or they will not, or they will pretend that they do and they don't. And I call that passive aggressiveness,
Mm-hmm.
where yes, 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 until you do it, and then they retract. There's no support,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
there's issues. Or you
Yeah.
really
And
did something to piss them off, even though they said it was okay, but deep inside it wasn't. And I had
yeah.
the relationship fall apart that way, the 9 year
Mm-hmm.
relationship, where he said,
Yeah.
it's totally fine. It's totally fine when he wasn't. And I said, no, I can't. I can't do this. No, I
Yeah.
checked out almost immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, if they're not growing with you, and if, again, keeping those conversations, those, uh, topics open, you know what I mean, of like where you're headed, and where they're headed, and where you're going together, whatever that may look like for you. You got to find out what matters, what goes deep, you know what I mean. And yeah, and recently, I had a friend mention that she gave me like a checklist, because I had told her I was dating, and so she's like, oh, does he do this, does he do that, does he, and I was just like, and I just like, I personally, like, when I got rid of the checklist, like, granted, let me share, ladies, really quick, and gentlemen, if you're watching, I have slash had, I mean, it's somewhere in a book. I wrote down a checklist. I wrote down what I was looking for. I wrote down, like, and this is my checklist. I wanted him loving, kind, had a good relationship with his mom, was funny, I wanted him taller than me. I wanted, I mean, those were just the basics. I wanted him to communicate. I just forgot to mention how old he should be. But I mean, we're not going to go there because I haven't shared any of that with my audience. But I'm just saying, like, this is the thing, is like, yes, that was a list for like kind of like a non-negotiable. But I hear some ladies, I'm like, he has to make this amount. He has to do this. He has to do that. And I'm like, I didn't have that type of list. I know who I am. I'm grounded in who I am. I'm confident in who I am. If he grows with me, great. If not, you know what I mean? Like, that's okay. That's on him. I know where I'm going. And it's not somebody that when these checklists came about, I was just like, do you make me happy? Do you love me? Do you show up when I need it? Are you supportive? Are you, like, those were, like I said, those were like the just basics for me.
Yeah.
And he showed up in every single way continuously. And I mean, we've been great. It's like we're going on 6 months now, and it's like, never would have thought it, but here we are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So who knows where that's going to take me? I'm not saying, it's going to like be forever and happen forever. I mean, it'd be nice, if it's doing something in that space, but it's like we all grow. And if they're willing to grow with us, if they're willing to support in that process, then why not? Like, I think we hold people to a standard to an extent. Now, don't get me wrong. Like Rocio, you're talking about, like, you got to have these types of understandings of the man you're looking for. And I get that. But remember that you're doing it for you, not for them. Your
Yeah, but
life
it's
is
got to
revolved around
compliment you.
you.
It's got to support you. And I'm telling you,
Oh, for
if
sure.
you're not complimenting each other, then and my husband and I go to a retreat every single year.
Mm-hmm.
It's called a weekend to remember. It's for a weekend, and it's so powerful. There's so many reminders. They usually have like a couple, like a newlywed, somebody who's been married about 20 years, and then somebody who's been married for like 50. And so just hearing their stories, like, it's just awesome.
It's
But
amazing.
I'll
Yeah.
just say that, marriage relationships are like a dance, and
Mm-hmm.
the more you practice and communicate, and, the easier it is, and the better dancers you are.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Not only that, but it's also, so they talk about oneness all weekend, right? Like
Mm.
becoming
Yeah.
one. And what does that look like? And so they're like, if you're not leaning, if you're not going towards oneness, then you're
Mm-hmm.
separated. Then there's no in between. It's either
Yes.
you're drifting or you're becoming one, right?
Mm.
And so there's so many examples of that where people are like, oh, we're good, we're not, we're good, we're
Yeah.
not. But at the end, right, everybody seems to be headed that way. And so that's why they're obviously they're speakers and sharing their testimony. It wasn't always like that for them. But once they got the dance, it was on, it was party time. And so I always say, like, marriage is not easy, but if you have somebody who can validate your feelings and is compassionate. I mean, I don't know. I could go on and on about my husband, but the show isn't about him. It's really about us. It's about
Yeah.
us women and our journey to find
Yeah.
the the right man for us, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I
And
think it's just opening your heart to loving yourself. Like the minute I let go of this idea and this story in my head, because I've shared this in the past, but like my story was very just like I'd show up in with this sexual energy and that's all it was. So the men I attracted was the sexual energy type men. And I was like, why do they just want me for that? Like that's crazy. But guess
yeah,
how I was showing up? That's how I was showing up. And I share this so that other women understand that same process.
yeah,
Everything around us is energy. So however we're reflecting about, like, for example, like, if we show up in a space like you said earlier, why, like the toxicity in someone, right? Why was that the first thing you thought of? So
yeah.
if that's
The
the
first thing
energy
that stood
you're
out,
putting
right?
out
You're
there.
like, oh, toxic.
Exactly.
I mean, that could
Exactly.
be discernment. So
These
I don't
dogs
want
are
to say,
barking like
yeah.
crazy.
Oh yeah, I hear that.
Can you hear them? I'm like, oh my goodness. My dogs go back and forth with each other. Well, my dog and then the neighbor's dog.
Yeah.
Oh, let me just talk into my mic. Can you guys hear me good? Okay.
That's what it sounds like. In my neighborhood, there's a lot of coyotes, and so
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
even worse. But yeah, no, intensity sometimes feels like passion, right? And
Yeah.
intimacy feels like passion too. And so
Yeah.
we're all confused and and it feels confused. If it feels confusing and it feels weird and it doesn't really um just I would say align, it's because it
Hmm.
doesn't.
Yeah.
And sometimes we want to just like put the shoe on even if it doesn't fit, right? You
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
force something on and it's not. It's
Like
just
in
not.
Cinderella, when, the slipper, the sisters were trying to squeeze their foot into this shoe
Yeah.
because they
No,
want it to happen.
it's not your shoe. Yeah, no,
It's not
100%.
your shoe.
Yeah, but Francine, but all to say that, this work that we're talking about, the goal
Yeah.
is really to identify someone
Hmm.
who you can recognize and vice versa, right? Hey, that's the woman I want. My husband, we had one date, on our second, like our first formal date, we did like a meet and greet. Like, oh, let's
Hmm.
go out for a drink. Let's just kind of test the waters. The next day was our formal date. And he told our driver, he was like, do you think I'm crazy? Because I just met her and I want to marry her. And he looks back. We're
Oh,
both sitting in the back seat and he looks back and he goes, oh, good for you. I was like, okay, weirdo.
I know.
So my
You're
husband
like, can
asked
you
me the
drop me
other
off
day,
at home, weirdo?
yeah, he's like, so when did you think like we were gonna get married, or when did you like know that you wanted to like be with me or marry me or whatever? And I
Uh-huh.
couldn't answer that. I was like, gosh, I don't know. There's so many like awesome moments because he totally
Yeah.
swept me off my feet. He's so, he's very detail oriented, generous, like just, so many things that I was like, I don't know. I think I was just like, wow, 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 whoa. Like
Well,
it sounded
and
too good to be
also
true.
to your point, Rocio, you were analyzing, so it in the process, right? You know how you said you analyze in the beginning,
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
find out what it is that's going to fit well with you. And I get that. We all do. And believe me, when I said with this relationship, I don't know how many times I tried to kick him to the curb because I was like, no,
Yeah. Yeah.
because there's a big age gap. And so I was like, no, like this is not what I want, what I need in my life. I'm good. But he continued to show up. He continued to follow through. He continued to communicate. I was just like, who are you? So again, we just
Yeah.
don't know where it's going to come out of. And, like you said, I analyzed too. I went, even when we got into our disagreements, it allowed me to see who I was and what I was struggling with internally. So now it's like, I can't even tell you when we last had an argument. I maybe December, and now we're in February. So like maybe like not even an argument, like a disagreement.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's pretty
But
interesting. It's allowed me to
disagreements,
grow.
people think disagreements are bad and they are not.
No,
It's
no,
like
they're just
it's
a
not a bad
reflection.
thing. Like we are two different people.
Yeah.
So it's okay to disagree. We're going to disagree all the time, but we can work it out. We can talk about it. We
Talk
can talk
about
about
it.
why we disagree
Yeah.
and then, compromise at some point. But I just feel like you don't need to be chosen to be or feel valuable either.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yes. Okay, come on
Like
now.
that's totally okay too.
Single for 13 years. I don't
Right?
know if I need to tell anybody that, but I knew I didn't want to settle. So granted, yes, I've had men looking my way, but I was like, I'm not settling. Like, so when we do talk about the list, I understand, but again, the energy I was attracting was not who I wanted to settle with.
Hmm.
So until I did the work on me, until I started to understand it was me that needed to love myself to connect to who I was. Like you connected straight away to God. I remember having this conversation really quick, Rosie. I have to tell you. I was like, God, I'm like, but you don't understand. Like the last guy I was with, I was like, you don't understand, God. I'm like, you're not human, so you can't tell me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the
Yeah.
conversations I was having.
We've all been there, the going back to the ex, the going back to the guy that looks like the ex, feels like the ex. I mean, you name it, right?
Yeah.
But
It's
I
funny
just feel
because
like,
go ahead.
Francine, society ties worth to relationship status too.
I
The older you
know.
get, you're just like, oh, what's wrong with you? Oh, guys, she's got
Yeah.
everything, but she's single. And you're like, well, don't you want a single woman? Like,
Yes. And
wait,
then for all of us single confident women who were like, getting that how many of you, if you're joining us live, how many of you heard how are you single?
no,
How
that's
are
what
you
I'm talking about.
single? Oh my
You're
God.
perfect. You're this. Oh my God, this,
Yeah.
you have this going on, da 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 da, but you're single. And I'm
You're
like, oh,
single?
well, if you're single, aren't you looking for a single woman? Like, you know, like
Yeah.
there's something wrong with you. And so, sometimes we need to reclaim and remind ourselves, like, excuse me, like I'm single for a good reason, let me tell you.
Right.
And it has
Right.
nothing to do with anything you just talked about.
Yeah.
So,
But I remember in the beginning, really quick, is like in the very beginning when I became single, it was like that's what happened. That's actually how it led me to Wheela, and then how it led me to doing events for women. Is that I fell into depression in 2017 because I was single. And like you said, the society was saying, "What's wrong with you?" Right? So I did believe that it was me. So there's a different understanding though, where it's like, but it's all me. What do you mean it's me? But until you understand that there's a deep layer of work back to the heart, it in reality is you, but not in a bad way. It's just
yeah.
understanding the love that you get to connect to
Right.
for you first. Because when you show up in love for you first, then you get to understand and um, receive and attract the love that you want.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, in the beginning, I fell into depression because I was single and what's wrong with me and society, like you said, expectations of you got to be married, the white picket fence, the 4 kids, whatever that may look like,
Mhm.
because I was a Gen X, I grew up baby boomer parents, you too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
And you know what? I used to always tell myself like, okay, like how do I get this clarity that I need? And
right.
and how do I get this hope back without feeling pressured? Because
Mm,
everybody asked except for like my immediate, like my family. They weren't like, when are you getting married? But everybody else did. And
right.
I was like, what do you care? Like, do you sustain
Yeah.
me? Do you like, what's the problem here?
Yeah.
But
The only
anyway,
one that ever really said anything, like my mom and dad didn't really, my
yeah.
dad only recently, like probably about a year or two ago, he's like, I worry about you. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he goes, oh, your brother, he's married and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I just want you to be with someone and like someone who can take care of me. And I was like, Dad, you've known from the very beginning since I was 4, I'm independent. I hop my butt up across, our backyard fence and took off. The military police had to bring me home.
Yeah.
So it's again, he knows this,
Yeah.
but it's like, but the only one that ever gave me like, not even a problem. It's just, she's my grandma, my dad's mom from El Salvador. So she was very old fashioned. And so she would say, every time I saw her at Christmas, ¿Y tu novio? And I'm like, Grandma, pray harder.
No, no, not
No,
today.
no, I.
Yeah.
So,
No,
but
and
yeah,
and letting go of those timelines too. Like, I don't know.
yes,
I just keep reminding a lot of my friends, like, hey guys, I got married at 41. Like,
yeah,
you're still young. Don't give up. Don't settle. Right?
yeah,
We're big dreamers. We're big doers, shakers. And I said, there's no reason why. Like, keep working on you, keep prioritizing you, and love will find you. And
yeah,
it's
yes.
mutual, right? And you said something earlier, but my husband, I remember like us talking about like what qualities we were looking for. And he said something that I thought was interesting. And he said, that he liked somebody who was equally yoked. And I was like,
Mm.
oh, like I've never heard of a man talk like
Yes,
that. And so, and then I
go
was like
Christos.
looking looking it up in the Bible, right? It's in
Yes,
Second Corinthians, and it talks about like in faith, and we
yes,
always said like, that would be our foundation. And I
yes,
was like, oh my God, life changing.
yeah, yeah.
So
I
I
love
think
that.
for us, like that was just just trusting the
Yeah,
divine time, timing, choosing aligned values. I think that
yeah,
was huge for me. Um,
hmm,
what else? Everything else was like a bonus. Everything else was like, that's cool too. Like, yep.
yeah,
But once you kind of like set that foundation, like, talking about like values, respect, faith, and all the things, I was like, oh, you're speaking my language.
mm,
And it was all new, right? Like a few years. It wasn't like
hmm,
always that way. I wish it
yeah,
was.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, then I knew like my husband even had a love coach at one time. And
mm.
I feel like I like of all men, like he really didn't need it. Like he's a gentleman. He's like an old soul.
Oh,
Uh,
I love that.
and so I was just like, okay, that's interesting. I've never actually met somebody who had a love coach. And he wasn't even like embarrassed about it. He was just like,
Good
yeah,
for him. I
what I've
love
done.
that.
And he's still part of like a few men's groups.
Hmm.
And that really, and they're deep and vulnerable and all the stuff that I love and that you don't see. So I
Yeah.
guess that's why I was just like, oh, this is gonna work because it's gonna work.
Okay, I do need to bring this up because I think it's so important. Ladies, if you are saying, or even men, stop saying, I don't need a man. I don't need anyone. I'm good. I'm this. I'm that. We all need someone in our lives. We need
Yeah,
that love. We need that connection. And all we're saying is let go and let God handle your love in your heart.
yeah.
Again,
And yes, we
go
can
ahead.
handle life on our own. There's
Yes,
no
we
question
can.
about that. But like,
Absolutely.
how beautiful is it to like share it with
Share it.
somebody, right?
Yeah.
And that
Because I
companion
was
and
there. I used to say it. I don't need a man. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
I could throw out my own trash, but like, oh,
Yeah.
what a blessing if somebody
What a
does that for
blessing.
me,
What a blessing. Yeah.
Um,
And that's the thing. It's like, I can show up in a certain way. I'm confident. I move with so much confidence and grace and love and all these things. But for someone to be there and to love you through it and to show up in a space, where he, constantly supporting my show. He shows up and sees me live. You know what I mean? And it's like he'll join my lives when I go on Instagram or whatever that may look like. But there's just this constant support. So it's really nice if
yeah,
somebody can be there to support you
yeah,
wherever you're at. And
yeah,
so again, stop pushing away love when, it's all right here. Bring it back to God and
yeah,
remember, if you're saying I read the Bible and I follow him, but you are not taking the actions that he's giving you in your life, you're not really following him.
yeah. No,
I'll tell you
amen.
that 100% because I believe me when I tell you, He'll tell me one thing and I'll be like, wait, God, there's more. And he'll throw me back in the belly of a whale. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, because I know whenever he throws me in it, I know I'm like, okay, and this is where I'm at, and this is
This
why.
is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah,
That's why.
that's
And
why.
so, yeah, and and there's nothing wrong with like redefining your space too, like just knowing where you are, right? You know
Yeah.
what you need to do, and if you don't, stay in the word. And if you
Yes.
don't, get into a small group. And if
Yes.
you're not sure, pay attention to also the people that, are coming into your life and the ones that are leaving too. But you
Yeah.
got to be in alignment even with friendships, you guys. You
Yep.
really do.
100%.
Because when I joined this small group and they're like, we're gonna pray for like a husband, right? It wasn't like I want to keep dating. I was like, I'm tired. Like I've been dating, like I was a professional dater, like serial dater. Um, it was fun. It was easy for me. And I tell my girlfriends, have fun with it. Show
Yeah.
people a good time. Don't be a jerk. Like enjoy the moment. Be present. Forget about the phone and truly get to know somebody, even for
Mm-hmm.
those 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
um, and I promise you, like you're bound to come across somebody that you just really, really connect and align with.
Yeah. I honestly got tired of dating and I just kind of said, I'm done. And so literally like I wasn't looking for it. And,
Yeah.
they always say when you're not looking, it shows up. And so like I was just focused on me, my faith, my work, and that's it. And then he just popped into my life. And I was like, nope, 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 nope. I even said, nope, 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 multiple times. And no, it happened. So,
And you know what? The healthiest relationships are not found in urgency. You look
mm-hmm.
desperate.
Yeah.
You sound cheap. No, thank you.
Yeah, and I did. Believe me, I
Yeah.
did. Everything that you've said or everything we've covered today, I've done. So, like, I was that desperately looking Susan.
Yeah.
I was that person that was going out there and, like, dating and trying
Yeah.
to, figure it all out. And so, understand, like, we're not here to say we're perfect. We're here to share our experiences and to know that to find the one,
Yeah.
THEE, is to really give your relationship and honor to God. And He is right here.
Yeah.
So dig deep, like Rocio said. Understand who you are. Show up in a space of
Authentically.
love and
Show
authentic.
up authentically.
Yes. Be
Because we're
transparent.
so fake and eat half a salad to prove what?
Exactly. For
Girl, buy me
what?
two salads. What the heck? Like,
Yeah.
you know?
Shoot, add
Yeah.
some chicken, some extra in there. I'm gonna eat. I'm sorry. I'm gonna eat from the very. I'm not even sorry. From the very beginning, I was never that person that was gonna say I'm eating a salad. Never.
But
I
that
will
was
eat
the
in front of
thing in
you.
our 20s. Like, oh, we got to pretend to be perfect and we got to, there's a lot of pretending, I feel, like,
Maybe back then, like not. It was never for me. It was
well,
never.
I think generally speaking in our 20s, right? We wanted,
Yeah.
like, we
Yeah.
needed
Yeah.
like the
I can
image,
see what you're saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
not so much, yeah, not
I
so much now, but
I used to laugh because I'm be like, girls will be like, I'm gonna get a salad. I'm like, girl, I'm eating.
yeah.
But see, I've always had that, mentality. And yeah, it's just funny. But no, I know what you're referencing. In general, a lot of women would
And
do
this
that.
goes for men too. Like guys, the more authentic you are and the more caring and the
Yeah.
more healed you show up, like you're gonna
Mm,
attract somebody just like that.
absolutely. 100%. And I'm glad you referenced to the men too, because it's not just the women, it's the men. And let me share a tidbit of statistics that are out there right now. Older women are dating younger men because they're not triggered by their past. So, like, some men are triggered by what's happened in their past. They're not willing to do the work. And, again, it's just more percentage is raising for women that are doing the work, the inner work versus men. So if you're a man and you're watching this, know that you get to do the same process of loving who you are
Yeah, this
and
applies to both.
connecting. It applies to
100%.
both, 100%.
Yeah.
It's just we want more men to be in that space. And that's why, I mean, I get about 35% watching this show. So we're speaking to you too. We want you to be able to show up in a space of love and authenticity and really to be able to connect to women on
Yeah.
such a large level because, they're investing in themselves, and we want you to do the same.
And
So,
you can teach compassion, but honestly, like
yeah,
having somebody, with that heart is just
yeah,
like, okay,
I
like that,
know.
that really feels safe. Now
Yes.
I really feel seen. Now I
Yes.
really feel like we're aligned for
Yeah.
sure, right?
Yeah.
Because there's so many men that even if they feel it, like they'll just pretend. The ego takes over.
So true. Ego is big for men. And if you're struggling in a relationship or in a marriage, reach out to me because I know I can get down to the bottom of it. I really do. Because all it is coming back to love. Oh my goodness, you guys.
Yeah.
But, anyways, I got to wrap up because that is our show. We have gone over our mark, but that's okay because we had such a great conversation, and Rocio and I can go on forever.
Yeah, we
So,
can talk
thank you,
about
my
so
love, for
many other
joining.
things. Yes, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for
Yeah.
selecting such a fun topic for me too, because
Yes.
it's so easy because, we already
Yeah.
know we've done the work.
Right.
We're living,
Right.
right? We're living
Yes.
in alignment. We're living in faith. We're living in love. And
Yeah.
and I'm so glad I found my husband or he found me,
Yes.
whatever. We
Yeah.
swiped right.
Yes. And we love him. We're so excited for both of you. So
Yeah.
yes, I'm grateful for my relationship, grateful for yours, for you sharing yours. And we look forward to you guys sharing yours with us. Like, if there's any questions you guys have, drop it in the chat. We would love to answer them, if the question applies to any one of us. And we were wishing you nothing but lots of love, blessings, and abundant care
100%.
for, yes, for what it is that's going to be coming into your life next. So thank
Thank
you
you.
all for joining. Real Seal, I appreciate you, love, and I will see you guys all on the next episode of You Were Meant for More. Take care
Bye-bye.
and stay blessed. Bye.